Welcome to Yvonne and Lesley's Connecting Across the Ditch and Beyond. This was our presentation at CLESOL in New Zealand 2014. We started with this quote from Lesley Cioccarelli, who's from Canberra. I'm from Auckland, New Zealand. Following others is a beginning, tweeting each other is progress, learning together is success. And as Lesley said, this was inspired by Henry Ford and her own PLN. So at this point we asked everybody to introduce themselves. Where are they from? What kind of ESOL they are teaching? What kind of courses? And this is before we actually started our main session. So we introduced the idea of your personalised PD with the way that we learned in the past, and we acknowledge the idea of the conference, CLESOL, being one of the main ways, how we've used observations and day-long workshops and within our own community and our own department or our own institution. But this was looking a little bit wider. So what we really wanted to do was to make people engage with outside of the main community.
Okay.
And to look at the idea of the actual process of engaging and then learning and then supporting each other, and how we measure how effective it is. At this point we actually asked people who attended to mix and mingle and to find someone who had done something quite different to them in their own professional development. We allowed about 5 minutes for this. And then we looked at why do we connect, and this idea of eliciting from the attendees how they connected, thinking about what they just heard from other people, and we wrote these ideas on the board, which was quite useful, and then we showed them what we thought. But everybody pretty much came up with this first idea to meet teachers from around the world and to exchange ideas, but to try and start connecting, not just to be in isolation. And then even thinking about not just being in isolation in your own institution, but you're all seeking the same kind of knowledge. So how about sharing this? So learning together, finding resources together, this was one of the reasons to connect. We also looked at this slide. This may not show up very well, but we left this on the screen and had a mix and mingle activity, and the task was, what are you doing already on this image with your connecting, being a networked teacher, and to find who has learnt something new from the exchanges. So this was a mix and mingle activity again, and we fed back on who had learnt something new from the people at the conference. One of the reasons we connect is to access an infinite pool of resources through links by other teachers. And this is how I learn these days. I don't have a lot of time, so usually about 10 minutes every day I quickly scan Twitter and I find fantastic things. So a lot of the images are from a link from Peter Mello, and he of course mentioned this. Belma is in Nelson, and she is a prolific tweeter and she has lots of ideas. I like Nathan because he often embeds a picture in here for me, which makes it very easy to follow instructions. Sophia Khan as well puts in lots of articles for for reading and following up, and they all are very, very inspiring. Nathan Hall just spent the last 4 weeks with a theme in research, and then he summarised it on his blog, so that was very, very useful as well. ELT topics and ELT picks, well, Lesley will talk about this a bit more later, having teachers organise their students to send photos up on particular topics. I guess one of the other reasons we connect is to enter this idea of the 24-hour classroom for teachers. If you're not sure what this image is about, it's the 4 seasons of our earth breathing like a heartbeat. Here's Australia here, which is where Lesley's from, and way up here, this is Antarctica, here is New Zealand. So the idea was you can actually enter your PD 24 hours a day, just like students do these days. And webinars and conferences are quite useful from this point of view. Lesley had a lovely anecdote. She mentioned that she was on Twitter and a teacher tweeted, "What's the word which means using mobile devices to harass other students?" He just couldn't remember the word. He was from Canada. It was quite a different time zone, and Lesley was able to tweet back, "Oh, you mean cyberbullying." So, I mean, the idea of Twitter helping and sharing is another really important aspect. Connecting online is what? So at this point, we asked attendees at the conference to complete the sentence, "Connecting online is," on a post-it, and to put this onto the wall. This was quite a successful activity. Just from the short time that we had been talking and sharing what we knew, we were able to assess how much they'd actually taken on board. The other thing we really wanted to point out was connecting online is easy. Easy as turning on a switch, and it's really effective, you know, as long as you keep it simple. And connecting online is effective, and by effective we meant it's not about speed, you know, the old story of the tortoise and the hare. It's about using your time wisely and in the most efficient way for your particular lifestyle. Some students came up with these ideas, but the last one they didn't come up with. Connecting online is free, and this is one of the most important aspects for a lot of teachers to think about. This is the end of part 1, so we will do 3 parts. The second part is predominantly from Lesley, and the third part is me again.